This week, we're talking about change. The Satisfied AF podcast is the place to learn how to create a life and career that's wildly delicious. Want a steamier sex life? We've got you. Want a more satisfying career? We'll cover that too. And you can be sure we'll spend lots of time talking about how to build connected, fun relationships that can handle life's ups and downs. No matter what goals you're working on, this show will help you create a one-of-a-kind life that's just right for you. Join me, life and career coach Corey Lynn, and each week I'll give you lots of practical tips, tools, and proven strategies to help you create all the satisfaction your heart desires. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I have an announcement to make, and it's a bittersweet one. This will be my last episode for a while, as I am taking a sabbatical from podcasting. After nearly 4 years of releasing an episode a week, I'm ready for a break. While I could, of course, produce several podcasts in advance so that there would be no discernible change for listeners, I decided not to do things that way. I think there's too much in our current culture that creates an illusion of never-ending progress and constant productivity, and I don't want to put up that facade. Building a delightful and wildly satisfying life is no small feat. And one of the hardest parts of that is choosing what to prioritize and what to deprioritize. This is something I talk to clients and audiences about all the time. Sometimes we have to make tough decisions and say no, or not right now, to things that really matter to us in order to make space or in order to pursue other things. And in some seasons of life, we have less time or bandwidth and need to pull our energy and time back, even from things that we love and value. If you, like me, are feeling too busy and need to pick some things to deprioritize, know that you're not alone. There is so much pressure to do and be everything, especially for women. It can feel uncomfortable and downright dangerous to take a step back and make changes about how you're spending your time and energy. I know it's been a difficult and honestly painful decision for me to choose to step back from the podcast right now, but the reality is it takes an enormous amount of work and creativity to share ideas and lessons week after week. And while it's been an honor and a privilege, in this moment, I am deeply craving blank space. And I want to share that craving with you because I suspect many of you have experienced that as well. Maybe you're experiencing it right now. There may be things in your life that you want to deprioritize or change, and it might feel scary AF or even impossible to do that. Trust me, I get that so deeply. But some of the most important work of coaching is asking yourself if something you want is actually impossible or if pursuing it just sounds terrifying. For me, I can see that I'm afraid, but the thing I want to do is not impossible. And it could actually be very useful to make this choice, even if it goes against lots of people's ideas about the right way to do things. Even if it goes against my own preferences in some ways too. Like, I'd prefer to have all the time and energy and resources in the world to be able to do all the things I want to do. But I don't. And so I must decide what to prioritize with the limits I face. The Satisfied AF podcast and my work is all about creating a life and career that's wildly delicious to you. And what sounds wildly delicious for me right now is a podcasting sabbatical. So that's what I'm doing. I do want to share that I will be working in my business during this break. I'm still coaching clients right now, and I even have room for a few more. So if you want to hear my ideas and insights on your particular life and challenges, working together one-on-one is the best way to do that right now. I also recommend that you sign up for my email list, as I will be continuing to reach out there. And of course, there are more than 200 episodes of Satisfied AF, so there's plenty of information and ideas to bring joy, intentionality, and courage to your career, relationships, goals, and more. So with that being said, what will we spend this final, for now, podcast episode talking about? What I want to say is this: you deserve a love and belonging and goodness and a delicious life. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean these things will just show up. And even if you work super hard to achieve them, some of them might take longer than you want them to, or not show up at all, or not look and feel the way you thought they would. I am sorry to say it, but it's what I've found to be true. The world can be a tough place. It's not fair or just. Terrible things happen. People are not always kind. I don't say all of that to depress you. I say all of that because without an understanding of the difficulties of the world, it can be very easy to give up. And without an understanding of your inherent worthiness, you may blame yourself when you go after something and it doesn't go your way. What I also want you to know is this: things can be surprisingly easy sometimes too. Wonderful people might arrive in your life, or you might get a lucky break. Things come together beautifully, and that's worth remembering too. Sometimes our hard work pays off in big ways, and sometimes we receive gifts that have nothing to do with us or how much or how little we've been applying ourselves. It might be easier sometimes to go after our goals if it were more straightforward, if you were guaranteed a good result, if you just put in the time, effort, etc. But that's not the world we live in. All the same, magical things are possible. I do believe, even in our weird, wild world with all of its flaws, and there are many, that you can create incredible things. But since there are no guarantees and you might hit rough patches and life is full of challenges, and even if you achieve your goals, most of the time you'll still be en route to them, I do deeply encourage you to find ways to make your life satisfying and enjoyable, moment by moment and day by day. The value of this is twofold. Your real, actual life will improve, and you'll be more likely to stay on the path of pursuing your goals overall. You'll find the sweet spot of appreciating where you already are, even as you move towards wherever you want to go. It's like a road trip. Just because the destination is thousands of miles away doesn't mean you can't enjoy the view, music, and company where you are right now. Arriving at your destination is fun, but it's only a single moment in time. Go for it, pursue it, pump yourself up with how cool it will be to arrive. Spend the car ride moving yourself closer to that goal mile by mile, but don't make the car ride miserable just because you're on the way and not there yet. If you remember that you're 100% worthy no matter what, but that things don't always go according to plan, you'll be able to enjoy the trip and also navigate the various hurdles that might arise. Detours, flat tires, boring stretches of Texas that you just have to get through. These things are all so much easier when you know that they're just part of the road trip. And then you'll also be able to enjoy the delightful surprises along the way and keep going until you get to where you want to be. Thank you so much for being a Satisfied AF listener. I appreciate you so deeply. If this episode resonated with you, I would still love for you to rate and review the show or share it with a friend. Just because I'm going to be on sabbatical doesn't mean I don't want the work to get out there and help people. And if you know somebody who would be a good fit to work with me one-on-one, you can have them reach out to me via my website. Thank you so much, and it's been so fun. And maybe I'll see you a little bit later. Bye. Thank you for joining me for this week's episode of Satisfied AF. If you're ready to create a wildly delicious life and have way more fun than you ever thought possible, visit www.corylyn.com to see how I can help. See you next week.